1.
Hi there. I'm here with Greg Miller. He was my partner this past week in the Food Stamp Challenge, and we're going to get some final thoughts on the week, Greg. So, tell us how it was. What happened this week?
Well, I mean, the $28 budget limit, I had about $2 left over, which I was hoping for a bit more of a buffer because I put in my blog post too. You know, I'm a bachelor in his 20s. I'm on the road constantly, so I usually end up forgetting my lunch in the counter, and that happened a couple times this week. So, you know, what this taught me was that food is, I've always thought of food as a necessity, but it's something I've always had a budget for.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've always been really lucky in that I could, you know, spend a little bit extra on something if I wanted. If there was that extra seasoning, I could grab it. If there was that extra stuff, I could make it work. I didn't have that option this week. I had to figure out how to make do with that set amount, and it really opens your eyes into the plight that too many people have to go through.
What was sort of the biggest difference? I mean, did it take you longer to shop? Was it? Did you have to plan more? What were some of the things that?
I had a plan in the back of my head of what I was going to eat when, and I probably circled the grocery store about 4 or 5 times, making sure I found the best deal possible, making sure I found, you know, what was the best value for this? Is there any way I could do this cheaper? Is there any way I could do this before? I mean, I'm used to kind of going through and looking through the shelf and thinking, oh, okay, well, the 50-cent can is better than the $3 can, so I'm going to go with that one. But it was a lot more crucial a difference this time.
You know, we have a number of families and individuals, you know, just the past couple of months.
Too many.
Second Harvest has enrolled nearly 300 onto the program. And, you know, 46%, I found this out, 46% of all the kids in Buchanan County receive assistance through food stamps.
And it's higher within St. Joe.
Yeah.
It's higher. I mean, we've done stories before on Channel 3 about 60% in some cases. And the educational issues that come up with that. You've got a kid who's starving in their classroom, they're not going to be this susceptible to knowledge, they're not going to be susceptible to the information they're supposed to be learning in the process. It's a huge problem.
Well, not to get too political, but
right.
You know, food stamps every so often becomes part of the political debate. And I recently wrote a blog post that I believe that food stamps are more of a trampoline than they are a hammock. And you hear that social safety net is a hammock. Yeah, tell me a little bit about your thoughts on an extended period of time. If you had to extend this because of life circumstances, extend this week 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Because you're unemployed or disabled or something like that. If you could just kind of give me a picture of, in your mind, what a temporary time period on the food stamp program is, at least from the point of view of accessing enough food to get by.
Well, I mean, I'm a reporter, so in full disclosure, it's a job where you could find yourself unemployed for a long period of time.
Yeah.
It's the way the business works. So I've had that thought before. I think after this week, I got some. We've done stories about it. I've gotten some better advice on how to make that dollar stretch even further. I thought I did a pretty decent job considering the circumstances, but I found ways to make it stretch even further, ways to incorporate more nutritious foods into your diet, because that's another thing I ran into was just a total lack of energy.
Yeah.
I didn't have
your calories went down.
The calories went down. The kind of calories went down.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't jog as fast or as long as I usually do. I couldn't. I felt a lot more fatigued, a lot easier, and for a longer period of time, you know, you'd have to figure out a way to get that balance back on track. But it's tough.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that before too.
Sure.
Just the issues you run into when you're trying to make it stretch for a longer period of time. How you're going to sustain yourself for that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 month period.
Huh.
It would be a real challenge. I'd have to elicit a lot of help, and there are resources out there.
Yeah. Well, Greg, thanks so much for being my partner.
It's a pleasure. Appreciate
Great,
it. It opens
really
your eyes.
appreciate your insight. Thank you so much.
Take care.